Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about ClearlyIP's call panel, the power behind Clearly Cloud. I'm Bob Webb. I'm the Chief Business Development Officer for ClearlyIP. Still in my first year here, and Clearly, Clearly call panel is we say the power behind Clearly Cloud, but it's also the friendly face at the front of Clearly Cloud. So we'll be covering that today. I'll be doing an introduction of Clearly IP. I'll discuss Clearly Cloud, which is our UCaaS platform. And then we're going to talk about Call Panel, which is our web, soft phone, and communication control center that comes with Clearly Cloud. I'll do a live demo of Clearly Cloud's Call Panel, and then we'll do question and answers at the end. You'll notice that your mics are muted, so you won't be able to ask questions as we go, but there is a Q&A portion to the webinar. You can put your questions in there. We'll run through them at the end, and we'll make sure that all the questions get answered. So Clearly IP, we are a VoIP company. That's where it all starts. We're fundamentally a VoIP company. Clearly Cloud is our flagship product. It's a UCaaS platform, fully functional, multi-tenant, highly distributable, very resilient, and we really stake everything we do on that platform. But we also sell, of course, we sell SIP trunking for those of you still working in premise-based systems. We have a cloud device manager that's a device agnostic provisioning system that can provision over 300 devices and pretty much lead you to a zero-touch provisioning environment. One thing that greatly differentiates Clearly IP from other providers is that we manufacture our own IP desk phones and gateways. These are very, very high quality devices, which we sell directly to our partners only. And we sell them, they're great devices. We sell them at great prices. One thing people may not know about us is that we are also very specialized in the hospitality business. Our systems are in over 1,800 hotels nationwide. We serve over 400,000 hotel rooms with our equipment. So Clearly Cloud, it has all the important features you would want in a PBX. It's a multi-tenant system hosted in the cloud. We'll talk about its design principles on the next slide, but from a feature set, it has everything you want: auto attendant, IVRs, call parking, call queuing. Every Clearly Cloud subscription comes with Clearly Anywhere, our mobile app. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end today, as well as every subscription comes with Call Panel, our communications control center and web-based soft phone. Clearly Cloud was designed to be very easy to set up, easy to use. It's very affordable. It is designed for business continuity. So once your PBX is in the cloud, you get all the redundancy of the internet, if you will. So you can connect your devices from anywhere you have an internet connection. On top of that, we're in multiple data centers, highly secure data centers, and have resiliency built into our back-end system. We'll talk about Call Panel today. We're obviously here if somebody needs additional professional services, and our platforms can scale to tens of thousands of seats and well beyond that for any individual customer. So with Call Panel, it's just the concept of communications made easy. It's designed to give from the user who just wants a soft phone to the call center manager who needs to manage the call queues to the front desk who's operating a very typical front desk environment, handling all the calls coming in for an organization. It's one web-based application managed by permissions that can handle all of those functionalities. We'll be talking about the desktop soft phone. I'll be showing it to you in a minute. Easy to make calls, easy to see your call history, easy to manage an active call. We have built-in audio conferencing and video conferencing, so you can have all your meetings. Our conferencing platform has all of the functionality functionality you would expect. So you can share screens, you have separate chats. It is fully functional video conferencing. We have messaging and SMS, which is great. Our messaging platform is very similar if you've custom to Slack or Google Chat. We have private and public rooms, direct messaging. But within that, we also have the ability to SMS enable your work phone or your work number. And those messages are managed through the same call panel, through the same interface as our chat. And then, as I said, the mobile soft phone, we won't be doing a demonstration of the mobile soft phone, but again, every user has access to it. It's very low battery use, very high functionality. All of the users you see in my display later, when I'm displaying call panel, they also appear as well in Clearly Anywhere. So I'm going to jump right into a live demo. If you just give me a minute to get set up, and I think everybody should be seeing my screen. So this is my screen. This is a live system we're looking at right now. As you can see, I'm going to start over here with very simple on the soft phone itself. It's just very easy to use. I start dialing and my call history comes up on the right and my contacts come up on the left. I can click any to make a call. That's going to prevent my getting an echo in my ear. So I have an active call up. From my active call, I can get to my dial pad. I can put this call on hold. I can retrieve that call back. I can mute myself, manage the volume. I can park that call. I'm not going to park that call today, but park that call from here, and I can transfer it or stop that call. And I can manage the recording. So it's just a basic soft phone. From there, I'm going to jump over and look at our users. You can see I have a number of users on my screen that I can track. I can see what their status is. Do they have a device registered in the system right now? Are they online with chat as well? Um, we have multiple display options. This is the simplest display option. You can go to a medium-sized card option and a large card. It's kind of very easy to do the rest of my demo with the large cards, so that's what I'm going to say. Currently, Tony Lewis is not somebody who I'm monitoring, but if I want to start monitoring Tony Lewis, I could just add him right there. That if I don't want to monitor Susan Thorogood, I'll just remove her right there. So I have complete control over whose devices I'm seeing at any one time. I can sort these phones. I was hoping to have an active phone. Nobody's on the phone right now. I can sort by status, by name, by extension, or if it's custom, I can just drag these around anywhere that I want to drag them. If it's by status, then active calls will come to the top. So if I come back here and I dial that number again, you can see that that is now an active call, and on that and that. So normally, if any of these guys were busy working today, I'd have active calls and be able to highlight that fact that. But I can definitely see that Christian has 4 unanswered voicemails. If somebody were in an active call, I could barge in, and I could barge in on either side of the call, and I could barge in with or without a whisper. I have that permission right from this call panel. uh, go from that. Obviously, if I wanted to call Matt, I could call him or I could start chatting directly with Matt from here. These are all the users in the PBX system, in the tenant system that we have. I'm going to jump into the messaging portion of our system. We have public channels. We call ours water cooler and random and test room. as well. There's a private channel just for myself and Luke and Gerardo. We uh, leverage that. And then I can just direct message other users in the system. And I've had some direct message history with both Todd and EJ, as you can see. Down here, I can look at an email address. The government wants to get a hold of me somehow on that email address. To create a message, or on that SMS, to create a message, I can choose chat or SMS here. Because I have multiple phone numbers that can actually send an SMS, it's actually prompting me, or if I did have multiple phone numbers right now, it would prompt me. And then I can just send this to anybody I want, send an SMS to anybody I want, send a chat, the same thing. SMS does support MMS, and you can do file uploads here as well. Our system has a full call queuing. So for call center managers, call queuing, you can see status boards on top, overhead board functionality. We don't have any active calls right at this moment. Um, if I wanted to stop watching one of these systems, if I would want to stop watching accounting, just like before, I can take that away. And if I click on a system, we can see that there are all these folks registered in that queue. If I wanted to pause Luke and say, Luke, I don't want you to take calls for a while, I could easily pause him right here or put him back into play as well. If a call was active, I could grab that call even if I'm not in that queue and I have permissions. I can grab that call. I can grab that call and transfer it to somebody else. Again, based on permissions, I can do what I want with an active call that I would see over here. Our system comes with audio conferencing. Every user gets a personal audio conference. They can set up a pin. They can decide whether they want to announce the user count as people enter and exit, music on hold options. All of this can be managed for each individual having their own personal conference. You can also build with our system standard conference rooms. We have one for sales, one for engineering here that can just be always available. We can just say jump on the sales queue and everybody would dial extension 7000 and be led into the queue. Video conference, we've support for video conference. Generally, systems come with a couple of video conferences, but you can have more. Just work with us on that process. You can launch the video conference in a separate window, or you can launch it in a draggable window. I think my camera will kick in because I don't think I'm using it anywhere else. So you can see that I'm a real person talking to you today and on the call. So this phone, as I move around, that should move with me and go from there. Parking. If I have an active call, I can park it simply by dragging it over this spot, or again, so I can click here and park the call, or I can simply drag this call and I could drop it to park it on any of these spots here. Voicemail. Our voicemail system has transcription. So you can see that Doug sent me a message and I can read it right here with just transcription. You can also email this and you can manage that all as an individual user, manage everything about your email directly from this call panel. Greetings. Greetings can be managed and recorded here. I'm just going to say, and now it's very easy to use text to speech to manage your recording. Your text to speech can be in plain text or in speech markup language. I use the speech markup language here. It's very nice. I get to pick a voice that's much more pleasant than mine. I don't have to worry about any hesitation when I'm making my recording. It's really a very nice feature to use text to speech to record your own voicemail messaging. You can mark messages as read or unread, delete them, transfer them to somebody else, anything else that you want to do with voicemail, everything you can imagine. Because I have multiple voicemail boxes that I can address, so maybe you're also responsible for the generalized sales voicemail box or the generalized service voicemail box. I can change which voicemail box I'm looking at any one time right from the panel here and there. And then finally, I'm going to take you, you can get at your entire call history here. You can manage your contacts. We manage contacts. We have shared contacts, personal contacts. You can have shared tags, so you can tag contacts different ways. You can import and export your contact list. In the settings is where you manage all the things you would expect to manage on the phone. So you can set up your call forwarding. You can set up your find me, follow me uh, changes. If you had a toggle destination that you had control over, you could manage your toggle destination. That's a routing control within the PBX. Turn on and off notifications as well. If you have our Clearly Anywhere app and you have it downloaded, you can easily attach that app to this extension with not worrying about username and password, just by scanning this QR code with the app, and it will enable and basically log you in the app for that extension. If you want this information in an email, you can just send yourself an email, and you'll get that QR code in the email as well. All right, that's what I wanted to show everybody today. I'm going to move over to the Q&A and run through any questions you have. All right, can you briefly explain how a hybrid setup could work? Could that gentleman, so a hybrid PBX, we have multiple solutions for a hybrid PBX. We have a what we call a failover gateway. What that failover gateway operates in a hybrid mode is uh, uh, all of your SIP phones. Let's keep it very simple and just deal with SIP phones and not other devices. All your SIP phones are registered to our system on the cloud. There's a small separate device that is on the same LAN as those SIP phones, so on the prem. And that what that device is doing is it's monitoring connectivity to the cloud PBX. If, and I should say this, and all the SIP phones have a registration to the cloud, and if they can't hit the cloud, they will register to this address of this device. And so if we lose connectivity to the cloud, all the phones will now register to this premise-based device, and the device will establish a separate SIP trunk out the 4G connection. And with that separate SIP trunk now, we have extension to extension dialing preserved. We have inbound and outbound dialing capabilities. And we also have on the inbound side things like a very simple IVR. So it's a hybrid system in that you have both a premise device and a cloud device. It's highly resilient. When you're not connected to the cloud, you are losing some functionality, but you are maintaining important things like 911 calling, extension to extension calling, and inbound and outbound calling. Can we show ring groups or hunt groups for inbound calls? I don't have a great way of displaying that right now, but it's all managed in these queues right here. I was interested in using ClearlyIP with video door stations or intercom calling to video capable desk phone. Does ClearlyIP support video stations? We support video calling from within the platform. We support a number of video phones. We would need to take a look at the device you want uh, to use and make sure it's part of our system. If it's a standard SIP-based device, I believe that we would be able to support your video calling. Uh, Next question is, do we have an app universe, like maybe a CRM or a billing software? No, we are not we are not we're not providing that service. Just focusing on the VoIP side of things and not providing a billing service. Now, let's talk about that question. If you can join Clearly IP ecosystem as either an agent or a reseller. As an agent, we would handle all of the billing and all the customer care for any customers. If you join us as a reseller, then we'll be billing you and you would be responsible for direct customer care and uh, and direct billing, including all the regulatory stuff that comes with being a telecom reseller. Of course, we'd be there to support you on the technical and any setup responsibilities you have, but we do spend a lot of time discussing the difference between agents and resellers and that relationship. All right. Claude wants to know, we answered. Claude, Jimmy wants to know, sorry I'm late. Will the recording be available? Yes, it will be available. We do have complete Spanish report. Next question is from Christian or Tom. Do we have Spanish language support in the IVR? Yes, we have complete Spanish language support in the IVR, including in the text to speech. Next question is from Jeremy. Where do I enable call panel on Clearly Cloud? It does not display on my portal. Because it just comes, it's really just an URL that you connect to. So when you set up a user in Clearly Cloud, when you set up that user in Clearly Cloud, there's the ability to send an email to that user. And right from that email, there's a link and credentials for that user to get connected directly to call from Call Panel, because Call Panel is just a web-based application based on WebRTC. And so basically, once you set up that user in Clearly Cloud, you can get those credentials and even email them out to that particular user automatically. Can users control their outbound caller ID? They can, yes, to a certain extent. The next question is by Jeremy. What are the audio codecs you are using for HD calling? I don't know the answer to that, and I will have a reply to you, Jeremy, in the email. Just going to go back to the top and see if we answered everybody's questions. I think Pratish was mostly concerned about the hybrid setup. And Pratish, what I can have you do is you can reach out to me directly. My email is pretty simple. It's just BWEBB, so bweb@clearlyip.com. If you send me an email, we'll set up some time and you and I can go over the more complicated hybrid setup that you want to discuss. Does our cloud solution support PA systems and security doors? Yes, it supports PA systems and security doors. And more than that, if you have an extension like a PA system or security door that does not make outbound calls, you can sign that extension up as we call it users or extensions, pretty much the same thing, as a vanity user. It's at a much lower rate because it does not require outbound calls. Of course, if you put a vanity user on a device that has a dial pad, they would be able to call 911, but they would not be able to buy any other or to make any other outbound calls. So we do support the concept of a vanity user, particularly for things like PA systems and security doors. Further on the PA systems, if you're in a school situation, we have a very, very important emergency alert system called Codex that can be used to automate certain alert announcements over that PA system for school. Do we have a callback feature of just calling back the previous number? I'll have to look around, Christian. I've never used that feature. Obviously, from the history, we can easily call any user, as you saw. But do I have an immediate callback feature on the system? I will have to look. All right. Well, thanks everybody. That's the end of the questions. I really appreciated everybody taking time today to join the call, and I will follow up with everybody who left an open question that didn't get answered. So Thank you much.